I ripped it out of my journal. I shredded it up in little pieces of paper and just like massive, massive, I don't even know how to tell you guys. This is a massive clearing. Like, ooh, even in that moment, as I was just watching the fire take it away. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Spiritually Fly. I'm your host and your guide, Faith Hunter. By listening or watching this podcast, you are taking steps to rebuild your life, learn ways to courageously live out your dreams, or maybe you're here to unlock your potential. So let's drop into the power of self-healing and step into a place of self-care. Along the way, I'll provide you with science-based yet spiritually grounded practices that will enhance your life and elevate your soul. Hello, beautiful people. This is Faith Hunter, and welcome to episode number 15 of the Spiritually Fly podcast. I am your host and your guide, and today, this episode is all about the practice of journaling. I do a lot of journaling. If you experienced me on YouTube, if you've taken classes with me anywhere around the world, if you are a member of the Elevate by Faith app, you know that we get into our journaling. So I wanted to talk a little bit about journaling. This is going to be a little different type of flow to the podcast, but of course, I am definitely going to read something from my book. I'm going to provide some journal prompts. And then I'm also going to, of course, talk about journaling. So actually, I'm going to do that in a different order. I'm going to read something from my book, talk a little bit about journaling, and then offer up some journal prompts for you. Okay, let's just dive right in. I'm reading from page 10 of my book, Spiritually Fly. And this particular section is called Journaling and Sacred Space, because I like to journal everywhere, anywhere, but sometimes it's nice to have also a sacred space for you to journal. So, journaling and sacred space. You will be offered prompts to journal throughout your Spiritually Fly journey. Journaling is a way to record where you've been, but also how you are elevating. I recommend purchasing a journal specifically for your Spiritually Fly practices. In addition, if you can, create a mindful sacred space in your home or identify a sacred space in nature where you can write, practice, breathe, meditate, and journal. Wherever you choose to practice should feel safe and comfortable. Don't feel like you have to go all out. Keep it simple and authentic to you. A yoga mat, pillow of any kind, and a thin blanket, or basic bathroom towel will work fine for your sacred space. Or feel free to get fancy by adding a candle, incense, essential oils to the mix. That is what I suggest around journaling and creating a sacred space inside of my book. But let's dive a little bit deeper into the thoughts around journaling. Okay. Before we do that, let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, empty out. One more deep breath in. Exhale, empty out. And know that if you want to close your eyes in this moment, feel free to do so. Just pause. Yeah, that felt right. Just to give ourselves a moment to pause. So here we go. Journaling is this interesting concept and thought. Even like, for me, I consider it one of my spiritual and sacred practices, just as important. It is just as important as my yoga practice, because it gives me this opportunity to pause, think, do some really deep reflection and introspection. And it is a practice that I started doing in my teen years. It enables me to drop in a little deeper emotionally as well as mentally. It provides this beautiful aspect of inner balance and helps me to align in those moments that I need to. Just as I'm moving through my asana practice and I may feel a little shaky or off balance, when I breathe into my postures, there's this element of ease that starts to wash over me. So when I am journaling, I do the exact same thing. Something may be bubbling up as I'm writing things down, and I'm like, oh, that feels uncomfortable. That feels a little shaky. I typically will write a little bit. That sensation starts to rise to the top, and then I pause. I pause the writing. I take a deep breath in. I exhale empty out. And then I immediately go back to my writing. The thing about journaling is that many of us have gone through some enormous amount of pain, discomfort, moments of trauma. And throughout, right, as those emotions sometimes often control us, and unfortunately sometimes those traumatic moments can stop us, I find that journaling can be an amazing release. It's one of those major tools that I can use to let go of an uncomfortable moment in my life, a traumatic moment in my life, a moment that may send me down a nasty spiral. I drop into my journal practice to help me stabilize, to give me life, to let go of the internal demons that are dancing around. Now, the thing that I think is really important is that journaling is not perfection. Journaling is not a novel. I like free-form journaling. I like having prompts to support me in my journaling. Like if I'm working on something really, meaning internally working on something specific, I love having prompts. Also, during specific astrological moments. So if it's a new moon, a full moon, I'm going to harness and tap into that energy. Or if it's some other beautiful celestial moment that's happening during the year, I'm like, spring equinox. I'm going to journal some really special things then as well. Or we have like the 8/8 portal, right, that happens in August. That's another opportunity for me to just really drop into some very specific prompts that will aid me. But know that just free-forming, even if it's a single paragraph once a day, can create a sense of ease to assist you, always assist me in letting things fall off. One of the powerful things, oh my goodness, I'm just going to be transparent right now. One of the most powerful things that I did a couple of days ago, actually, speaking of the 8/8 Lionsgate portal, that portal is this beautiful opportunity for manifestation, right? Like it opens up, you breathe, you meditate in that moment. But what I opted to do was to do two things during that portal. Before I actually set my intentions, before I wrote them down in my journal, I decided to write a letter because there was something on my heart that was just extremely heavy. As I started to write this letter to this individual, I realized that not only was there just like some heavy energy around it, I also realized that I was still a little angry. I realized as I started writing that I was still angry and kind of pissed off. And I knew that this letter, right, this journaling moment that I was going to have was definitely going to make space. So what I did in that journaling experience is I paused. I took some long, deep breaths. I sat in stillness for about a minute. And then I started writing my letter to this person. And I just wrote and wrote. There were some things that, again, I wanted it to get messy. And so sometimes your journaling will be messy. So I was like, I'm just going to write and write a little more. And then I'm like, oh my God. Okay. Yeah. You pissed me off. You. And like all the nasty, colorful words that I could think of. Oh, the bitches. Anyway, all those kinds of words. And I just let it flow. I was just like, I'm going to let it rip and get nasty, messy on this piece of paper. And then once I kind of like made it to the end, I was like, okay, I'm done. So then I took that paper or that set of journaling and that letter, I ripped it out of my journal. I shredded it up in little pieces of paper, and then I burned it. I burned it and just like massive, I don't even know how to tell you guys. This is a massive clearing. Like, ooh, even in that moment, as I was just watching the fire take it away, letting the fire purify and cleanse, I was like, thank God, hallelujah, praise. Like I was like singing some sweet praises. I was like, thank you, universe. I was like, imagine that lion heart fire energy, like that vibrant energy from the sun, just like come down into my body. Like everything was just being cleansed. And I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I needed to do. Once I finished that, then I stepped into my intentional journaling for my manifestation. And I wrote down 8 things that I want to manifest in the next 6 months to a year, sooner, better than later, right? The universe does not have a timeline. So I wrote down those 8 things to match up with the 8 Lionsgate. Those were in my journal. I took those out of my journal, and they are actually sitting on my personal altar so that when I light my candles every day, I see those intentions. Yeah. So journaling can be used in a variety of ways, but it is this beautiful spiritual practice that can assist you in releasing and letting go, creating space, openness, and love, and aid you in stepping forward into your greatest self, in aiding you and moving along the path layered with all of your hopes, desires, and your dreams. I absolutely love journaling. So let's journal right now. Okay, so before we go into our journaling, remember I talked about the importance of breath, aiding us in grounding in the moment and helping to create a foundation for our journaling practice. So I want you to place your left hand over the center of your chest and then a right hand right around your belly, slightly above your navel. So the left hand is at your heart chakra and your right hand is around your solar plexus, which is your third chakra. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes or just simply cast the eyes down and just start to take a couple of deep breaths in and out of your nose. And as you breathe in and out of your nose, just remember that this is an opportunity for you to seal in. This is an opportunity for you to find some foundation before you step into journaling. This breath and these few moments of centering will aid you in arriving into the present. And most importantly, this moment, this breath, and this centering is going to support you as you move through your journaling practice. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, empty out of your mouth. And then slowly open your eyes, reach over and grab your piece of paper. And your first journal prompt is, how do you feel in this current moment? How do you feel in this current moment? Now, I will encourage you to pause the video, write what you need to, and then press play to come back to our next set of journal prompts. Okay, let's keep it simple. List 5 things that you are grateful for. List 5 things that you're grateful for. Okay, since I did talk about forgiveness and releasing and letting go, here's our next journal prompt. Who do you need to forgive and why? Who do you need to forgive and why? Next up, how can you create more peace and steadiness in your life? How can you create more peace and steadiness in your life? And here's our final journal prompt. What does living in your purpose look like and feel like to you? What does living in your purpose look like and feel like to you? All right, beautiful one. There you have it. Another episode of Spiritually Fly. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It was all about journaling. And yeah, I'm going to encourage you to do a little more journaling, daily journaling, weekly journaling, monthly journaling. Just incorporate some form of journaling into your life. And I will remind you that I always have journaling videos on my YouTube page. I also have tons of journaling moments that are available inside the Elevate by Faith app, which is on both Apple as well as Android. And then, of course, I drop journal prompts on my blog page, which you can find at faithhunter.com, and on my Instagram account, which is Spiritually Fly. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.